We live in a world of nations. It just seems normal, right? So permanent. But what if I told you that the whole idea of a nation, a country that's defined by its people, is actually a pretty modern invention? Today, we're going to dig into how this powerful idea was born and how it completely redrew the map of Europe in the 19th century.
And our story really starts with a dream. Just look at this image. In 1848, an artist named Frederick Soryu pictured this scene, a world of democratic and social republics, all marching peacefully together. Now, this wasn't just some nice painting, it was a totally radical statement, a vision for a future that was the complete opposite of the Europe that actually existed at the time. So, to really get how revolutionary that dream was, we need to take a step back and look at the world it was trying to replace. A world that, believe it or not, didn't really have nations as we think of them today.
So, what did that world look like? Well, for starters, it was all about multinational dynastic empires. Think about that for a second. These weren't countries of Germans or Italians. Nope. They were these huge territories ruled by a single king or emperor, and they were filled with all sorts of different peoples who often had absolutely nothing in common with each other.
The Habsburg Empire is the perfect example. It was just this massive patchwork of peoples. You had German-speaking aristocrats, Italian-speaking provincials, Magyars, Poles, Croats, you name it. They all had different languages, totally different cultures, and zero shared identity. The only thing, and I mean the only thing, holding it all together was their allegiance to the emperor. The new idea, the nation-state, well, it turned that completely on its head. It said something revolutionary, that the state should belong to its citizens, to a single people bound together by a shared history and culture. So where on earth did this radical idea of a state belonging to its people even come from? Well, let's jump to the moment it was first put into explosive practice.
The year is 1789. The place is France. And this is the first clear, powerful blast of nationalism in European history.
You see, the French Revolution brought two game-changing ideas to the table. La patrie, the fatherland, and le citoyen, the citizen. All of a sudden, the right to rule, sovereignty, wasn't in the hands of some king anymore. It was yanked away and given to the people, to the body of French citizens, who are now a united community with equal rights.
And an idea this big, this powerful, well, it couldn't be contained. The French revolutionaries truly believed it was their mission to spread this flame of liberty, to help other peoples all across Europe break the chains of monarchy and build their own nations.
But of course, once an idea like this is unleashed, people are going to fight over it. And the next few decades became a massive tug-of-war for the very soul of nationalism.
Enter Napoleon Bonaparte. He takes these revolutionary ideas and marches them all across Europe with his armies. On the one hand, he brought in all these modernizing reforms, like his famous Napoleonic Code, which set up things like equality before the law. But here's the paradox. His armies were also seen as invaders. They brought heavy taxes, censorship, and forced people to join the army. So were they liberators or oppressors? The answer was, kind of both. So after Napoleon is finally defeated in 1815, the old powers of Europe, we're talking Britain, Russia, Prussia, and Austria, they all get together for the Congress of Vienna. And their goal was simple, to slam the history books shut and turn back the clock. They wanted to put the old monarchies back on their thrones and create a new conservative order that would stamp out these dangerous new ideas of nationalism and liberty for good. And to keep this new order, they cracked down hard. They brought in strict censorship laws to control everything, newspapers, books, plays, you name it. This cartoon from the time just captures the mood perfectly. It's a thinker's club, where everyone has a muzzle on, literally forbidden from speaking their minds.
But here's the thing. You can't kill an idea just by censoring it. It just goes underground. So liberal nationalists started forming secret societies, and one of the most famous figures to pop up was the Italian revolutionary Giuseppe Mazzini. The Austrian Chancellor Metternich, the guy who basically designed this conservative order, called him the most dangerous enemy of our social order. And why? Because Mazzini had this belief that nations were the natural units of mankind, an idea that was a direct threat to every single empire in Europe.
This simmering fight between the old way of doing things and this new idea of the nation, it finally just boiled over in one incredible, continent-wide explosion.
See, the 1830s and 40s were just awful for a lot of people. There was massive economic hardship, food shortages, people were out of work, and it led to popular revolts. By 1848, all that desperation mixed with the liberals' call for national freedom, and boom, revolutions started popping up everywhere. France, the German states, Italy, Poland, the Austrian Empire, the whole continent was on fire.
They called it the springtime of peoples.
For a second there, it really looked like that dream from Soryu's painting was about to come true. In Germany, for example, a bunch of middle-class professionals got together and actually drafted a constitution for a united German nation. But when they offered the crown to the Prussian king, he basically said no thanks. He wasn't going to accept a crown from the gutter. And that gave the old powers, the monarchy, the aristocracy, the military, the time they needed to regroup. One by one, the people's revolutions were brutally crushed.
And this, right here, is the crucial turning point in our story. After 1848, the dream of nationalism wasn't dead, not at all, but it got co-opted, it got twisted. It stopped being this revolutionary ideal of the people and became a pragmatic, powerful tool of the state.
This slide just lays out the shift perfectly. Early nationalism was a bottom-up thing, right? It grew from the grassroots, from the people. But after 1848, this new top-down nationalism shows up. Conservative leaders had a light bulb moment. They realized they could use the power of national unity to make their own rules stronger, not through votes and constitutions, but through war and pure military might.
The unification of Germany is the classic example of this. It wasn't the liberals in their parliament in 1848 who created Germany. Oh no, it was the conservative state of Prussia and its incredible army. Under their leader, Otto von Bismarck, Prussia fought 3 wars in just 7 years, beating Denmark, Austria, and France to hammer together a German empire by 1871. A very similar story of state-led, military-driven unification created the nation of Italy. And this brings us to the really complex, and let's be honest, often dark legacy of this world-changing idea. Nationalism had shown it could bring people together, but it was about to show it could also be a terrifying force for tearing them apart.
By the late 19th century, that idealistic, hopeful spirit of 1848 was just a distant memory. As one historian put it, nationalism had become a narrow creed with limited ends. It had hardened. It got mean.
This new, more aggressive nationalism made nations incredibly jealous and suspicious of one another. This rivalry led to a mad dash for overseas colonies and created these intense friction points all over the map, especially in the Balkans, which became a total powder keg. This new brand of nationalism was setting the stage for the catastrophic wars of the 20th century.
So the idea born in the French Revolution gave us the world of nation-states we live in today. But its legacy is a total double-edged sword, leaving us with a challenge that feels more relevant now than ever. How do we harness that amazing power of national unity without falling into the terrible trap of division and hate?